Welcome to The Code, your guide to health and human performance. I'm your host, Dr. Andrew Fix from Physio Room, a performance-based rehab facility here in Denver. On this podcast, we're going to explore the key areas of your life that impact your overall health and wellness, from sleep hygiene and stress management to nutrition, movement, relationships, and more. We bring you conversations with industry experts and top performers to share strategies they have for cracking the code on health and human performance. Now let's get to today's show. What's going on, guys? Dr. Andrew Fix back for another episode here on The Code. Again, as you know, I'm a physical therapist, rehab specialist at our practice Physio Room based in the greater Denver area. And today I'm going to just hop on here, talk to you guys about a brief topic about setting up morning routines for yourself and how that can basically set the tone for the entirety of the rest of your day. Right. And this came up because, I was thinking about this morning. What am I going to hop on here and talk about for some of these shorter solo episodes when, quite frankly, it's a little bit more challenging for me to do these episodes as opposed to interview one of our awesome guests that we have. And you guys know, when I have those interviewees here on the podcast, we're just sort of talking shop, going back and forth. And it's a lot easier for me to just jive with them and talk and take that conversation where it's free flowing and where it's going to go. But I like to have a little bit more of a framework when I hop on here and do these solo episodes. So I was thinking about this morning, and because I started work just a little bit later today, my first commitment was actually an appointment for myself with one of our team members at 9 a.m. this morning, based on the time that I typically get up and start getting ready for the day. That provided me with a little bit more time to do my typical morning routine that I like to do that honestly, I don't do every single day. And I notice a difference in how I feel and how the rest of my day unfolds on days that I'm able to do this and on days that I'm not. And that was pretty much why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. So first off, as humans, and you guys probably all realize this, we are creatures of habit, right? Generally speaking, you probably take the same route to work or to school or to wherever you're going on most days. Maybe sometimes you vary that and you take a different route, or maybe you have two particular routes depending on how the traffic pattern is at that time of day that you like to take. But for the most part, we take the same way, right? We're creatures of habit. We can kind of just cruise on autopilot when we know where we're going. We don't have to pull up our map and do something out of the ordinary. Same thing too, if you look at, how does your week unfold? Well, probably if you're like most people, Monday through Friday, you kind of do the same thing. You do your normal work things, take your children to school, whatever that might be. Your week, for the most part, unfolds the same way unless things hit the fan or something happens unexpectedly. And then maybe you have a routine on the weekend. Maybe that's kids' soccer games, or maybe that's softball or baseball or whatever season it is. We're getting here into the winter pretty soon. Basketball and wrestling and things are going to be coming on the scene. So, we have routines, and we like routines because it helps keep things slightly more predictable and it helps keep things consistent, right? And as we know, if you think about diets and nutrition lifestyles, you think about resistance training or exercise, fitness lifestyles, consistency over a period of time is going to be probably the main factor that leads to long-term results or leads to long-term success, is having this consistency. What you do on one particular day in the grand scheme of things over the course of months or years really doesn't matter that much. It's what you do time in and time out, day in and day out, over and over and over again. And the consistency is what is going to likely lead to the majority of the results continue to show up. So if we take that in the context of this topic, having a routine of how you start your day, if you can do that more often than you do not, think of how that might be able to set you up for success day in and day out to make very small incremental changes or improvements for the better, have your day unfold the way that you want it to over and over and over again, how much more might you be able to get accomplished? How much more might you be able to get done in that day when you're setting your day up more proactively as opposed to just reacting to everything that you come into contact or everyone that you come into contact with on a particular day, right? And we've talked a lot about being proactive versus reactive on the show. Obviously, our practice here at Physio Room, we like to take a much more proactive approach in how we help quarterback our clients' health and wellness in their physical being, managing aches and pains and injuries. We like to try and catch things on the front end as opposed to waiting and just reacting and treating symptoms, right? That is not what we want to do. We want to help people reset, restore, and reload and prevent those things from coming back. So it's the same idea, right? If you can be proactive in your day, plan for things, set up a success framework of how you want your day to go, as opposed to just responding to emails, responding to text messages, responding to, shoot, I spilled my coffee, now my whole day is a mess. Imagine how that might be able to make your day go. So just like we'd like to try to do on this podcast, not have like super lengthy, in-depth episodes, but have small, actionable steps that you can take and hopefully try to implement all or a piece of that into your lifestyle to make little improvements. That's what we're going to try to do here. So let me sort of tell you about what my morning routine was today and the routine that I like to do when I can, that I feel much of a difference with. Like I feel an improvement when I start my day this way and how my day goes compared to when I just wake up and start checking my email right away or checking my social media or whatever that might be. So if I can start and end my day at relatively the same time, that's better for me. We've talked about this on sleep hygiene episodes. The more you can have a routine and consistency to your sleep and your go to sleep and wake up schedule, the more your body can just start to get into that rhythm and your sleep quality can improve. So even though my day was starting just a little bit later than it does on a lot of other days, I still woke up at the same time. So my first commitment wasn't until 9, and I live about 15 minutes away from where I needed to be. I still woke up at 6 o'clock. So woke up 3 hours before I needed to be anywhere. And what that allowed me to do was wake up, brush my teeth, take a shower. Typically, I turn on a little sports radio when I do that, but I try not to look at my email and things. I don't get notifications of emails. I purposely have those turned off so that I have to go in to my actual email to look at those things. And I'm listening to sports radio, brushing my teeth, washing my face, doing all that morning routine. And then my wife had left. She had gone to the gym. So then I come downstairs and what I ended up doing was, I unloaded the dishwasher and loaded it back up. But that's not typically part of my morning routine, but that's what I did today. But I got into my normal groove of I made my morning coffee, I drank some water, packed my lunch for the day. You guys have heard me talk about food prepping. So, I packed my already prepped things, got it in my lunch bag, ready to go. And then I had the opportunity to sit down, open the blinds, get a little sunlight coming in. Like it was barely rising when I got downstairs to do this. And I sat and I read a book for about 15 minutes. And I really love to start my day with a little bit of reading, like just staying off my phone, listen to some sports radio, get a 15 minutes or a chapter or whatever that is of a book read. In this case, this was more of like a fiction recreation. Well, I guess it's not a fiction. It's a rendition telling of a story. But sometimes I do more of like a business book or a self-development book. Sometimes it's fiction, but nonetheless, like I like to start my day with about 10 to 15 minutes of reading before I really start to jump in to just the busyness of the workday. Right. And I'm sitting there with both of our cats, one laying next to me, one sitting on my lap, trying to read the book with me, essentially. and reading that book, just, occasionally sipping on my coffee. And that just allows me to start the day in a much more clear and especially much more like calm mental state. And I'm not worrying about the things that I need to get done. And I'm not worrying about the emails that I need to respond to. Or, in this case, I'm not, sitting in bumper to bumper traffic or anything like that, like kind of stressing me out. Because by the time I had to leave, there really wasn't a whole lot of traffic going on. And just allows me to start my day a little bit more purposeful, a little bit more intentional, and not in this like fight or flight, high stress type of environment. And what I've noticed on the days that I get to do this, I think more clearly, I'm less stressed, quite frankly. Like I'm less hustling from one place to the other. I'm more just able to go about my day, get the things done that I need to, and less bogged down by the constant like interruptions of texts and emails and Slack notifications and like all these things that tend to like direct where our attention goes. I find myself being able to choose a little bit more specifically what I'm going to put my attention on and where I'm going to set my intention for the day. Now, let's contrast this with the exact opposite, right? Like my alarm goes off, maybe I wake up and I'm like, shoot, dang, I need to hustle. I need to get going. I walk in the bathroom where my phone is charging because I try not to charge it right next to my bed. And I check my phone right away. I check my email or I check my social media, and like already 5 minutes into waking up for the day, you have like a fire to put out. It's like you get some email that sends your day into a tailspin. And then just think about if that happens to you, like what does the rest of your morning look like? What does the rest of your day look like in that situation? I know for me, when my day starts out that way, it's like everything is urgent, everything is high stress. And I'm just like from one thing right to the next, right to the next, right to the next, without ever even feeling like I have a second to breathe. And, I don't think it's a coincidence necessarily, but like if something bad is going to happen, like you're going to spill your coffee or you're going to, I don't know, you're packing your lunch and you accidentally like drop the container and it spills your lunch all over the floor. These are typically the types of days that those happen on when you're like already stressed out, you're hustling, you're trying to go fast, and then something slips out of your hand and you're like, ah, dang it. Like, this is the last thing that I need right now. I don't have time for this. Even if that same thing were to happen, you spill your coffee, you drop your lunch, you whatever. Um, if your day started not in a stressful manner, those things don't usually seem to be quite as big of a deal. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it sucks. It's frustrating. But if I spill my coffee when I'm not in a hurry, well, even though I'm annoyed by it, I still just clean it up. And if I want to, I can make some more coffee, or if I want to, I can swing past a coffee shop on my way to where I'm going. If I'm not in like a hurry and already stressed out, it's not as big of an added stressor to my plate, right? Or to your plate if you're the one feeling this. So, my thought recording this episode is just to try to encourage you, whether, obviously we talked about sleep hygiene and sleep quality being super important. But if you're able to say wake up 15 minutes earlier and not sacrifice a ton of sleep to do this, I don't recommend you're sacrificing sleep. But even if you wake up no earlier, if you're able to start your day with a little bit more of a routine and a consistency that's not reactionary and high stress, think of how that might be able to set you up for success throughout the day. So, one tip for that might be carve in or build in the time to allow you to get a couple minutes of reading in if you enjoy reading, or get a couple minutes of just like sitting and meditating in. Or maybe that's take a 10-minute walk in the morning before you even head out the door. to, if that means you wake up a couple minutes before your kids wake up, just so that you can sit in silence and breathe and just kind of like set the intention and set the tone for your day. If you're not able to do that, and if like you say, Andrew, there's no way, I don't have the time, I can't do this stuff, then what I would suggest is the night before, make sure you handle all the urgent stuff that you need to do so that when you wake up, you don't feel the need to have to check your phone right the second that you wake up. Unless you've got a call or something that you have to like that came in, like don't feel like you need to check your email or check your work notifications or something like the minute that you wake up and you start your day, because then you can just think and plan or hang out with your family or whatever that might be as you're getting ready in the morning. Be intentional and be present with whoever you're around, or just be present in the moment if it's just you, and don't feel like you're like, oh shoot, I have this email, crap, I have to do this, oh man. And if you can start your day a little bit more calm, a little bit more stress free, I think that's going to set you up for success throughout the rest of the day. And then you'll be better prepared in a mental and emotional state to handle the things when they do come up throughout the day. The emails, the spilled coffee, the traffic, the person that cut you off, whatever that might be. So if you have questions about how to structure or implement these things, questions about sleep and how to set up your routines, please go back and listen to some of our other episodes, or please feel free to shoot me a message. My information is always linked in the show notes to this show. I would absolutely love it for any of you that listen to this. First off, thank you so much for spending the time to listen to this episode and to carve in the time, whether you're commuting or whatever, to be here and to give our podcast some support. I really, really appreciate that and can't thank you enough. I would also love if you were able to leave us a review, hop on there, tell us what you like about the show, give us a 5-star review, and hopefully we can keep this coming and keep more episodes and topics coming that are interesting to you guys. So really, really appreciate that. Please go leave those reviews. And if there's some topic that you want to know about or hear more about in depth, please let us know and we'll be sure to try and get an episode out there on that for you guys. Again, my name is Dr. Andrew Fix. This is The Code, and I hope you can take something from this episode and implement it into your life so that you can see a little bit of benefit from it. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much.